Whether it was in Parliament or on a cushion, the one thing everybody could agree about former Deputy Prime Minister John Prescott was that he always left a big impression. But it might just be that Two Jags John's biggest impact on Britain is still to come. In his time in office, Mr. Prescott had the final say on lots of major planning applications, and some of the resulting projects are only just getting off the ground now. Over the next few years, Prescott-approved buildings will give the London skyline its most radical overhaul in generations. So we all know that economically, things in the city are about as bad as they've ever been. But at least in terms of its architecture, you could say that things are looking up.
We've already had a taste of what's to come. The first of the new towers was 30 St Mary's Axe, otherwise known as the Gherkin, all 40 floors and 630 million quid's worth of it. Its unusual design was massively controversial at the time of its construction. But like the London Eye, it's gone from being questioned to become almost as much a symbol of London as St Paul's Cathedral or Trafalgar Square.
The success of the Gherkin paved the way for the design and approval of some truly original towers, some of which have their own slightly silly nickname, but all of which are being built right now.
There's the 63-storey Bishopsgate Tower, aka the Helter Skelter. Some 350 foot taller than the Gherkin. It was supposed to be finished by now, but was delayed by a bunch of lawyers next door complaining about the noise. Then there's 122 Leadenhall, or the Cheese Grater, designed by Richard Rogers. This building's not only unusual for its shape, but because it's being grafted onto an old building that's still being demolished while the new one is being built. Seeing as we've got a whole load of offices for vertigo-immune workers, it makes sense to give them a tower to live in too. So also coming soon is the 49-floor St George's Wharf Tower in Vauxhall, which will be the tallest residential building in the country.
But all of these are just a sideshow compared to the structure currently being built behind me. In 2012, this site will house the tallest building in Europe, the 1,017 foot tall, 87 stories high Shard of Glass. At almost twice the height of the Gherkin, it will dwarf every other building around it. And while that's all very impressive, there is a downside. Some people are starting to wonder whether all this new building is having a damaging effect on a much smaller but a much more important tower. This one, the Tower of London. UNESCO, the UN's World Heritage Committee, are seriously considering putting the tower on their World Heritage in Danger list because of the effect that all of the skyscrapers will have on the tower's position in the London skyline.
Until comparatively recently, the Tower of London literally towered over its surroundings. But the Shard of Glass will be almost 1,000 foot taller, so it's understandable that UNESCO might be concerned about the tower's provenance being undermined.
And it's a prominence worth protecting. Since 1087, the Tower of London has been the gateway to the city. Its walls have seen queens beheaded, Nazis imprisoned, and it's kept the crown jewels safe. It's also seen 42 monarchs come and go, not to mention 680 Lord Mayors of London. So, for some, these steel and glass monoliths will not only compromise the tower's position in the London skyline, but its very place in the heart of the city. 2012 will not only bring the Olympics to London, but also a host of new, really impressive buildings that say something very positive about Britain's future. But in the search for progress, do we risk losing what's good about the past? Let's hope that, like the Gherkin, old Two Jags back to winner.